Hey, everybody. Thank you for coming to Real Horror. This is a show where we talk about the horror movie of the week. And this week we're talking about The Babadook. And I want to thank my panel for being here. Vinny, thanks for coming. How you doing tonight?
I'm good. I'm good. I was actually I was saying earlier. I saw this movie last night. Finished it in the morning. I thought this thing was really good, entertaining. Um, yeah, I was full of surprises too. Kind of like, I had an idea of where they were kind of going, but yeah, it was one of those movies. It's got some psychological things happening in there. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we had the
Yep.
supernatural touches, and like it was good. It was good. It's got some psychological things happening.
Yeah,
Oh,
I really liked it as well.
yeah, yeah.
All right, Draven, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, and yeah, like Vinny said, I really enjoyed this too. Um, Definitely psychological, definitely like parallels with like mental health and stuff like that. But yeah,
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you guys for being here. And I want to say hi to the chat. Hey, Bone, thanks for being here.
Hey, Bo.
King of the Squibs, how's it going? And Bone again. Hope you guys are doing good tonight. Oh, Blair, thanks for coming. Nice to see you. So, let's just dive right in. So, Vinny, what was your favorite part of the movie?
Oh, uh, I thought it was really interesting how they did the thing with the book. The only thing I missed was because I couldn't understand what the hell the kid said. Where did he find the book? Before we get into it.
he pulled it off the bookshelf when she asked him to pick a story for to read at night.
Yeah,
It just was
that's what I
there.
thought. They just already had it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Um, yeah. Oh, favorite part. See, I think it's when she was starting to have her breakdowns, where
Hmm.
it could look like it was all in her head, but then at the same time, it's like as the social workers were coming to check on the kid and all that, and she's like, "Yeah, I got there's this hole in the wall, and that's like I was cleaning up, and then you see there's no hole, and it's just." She's ripping apart the wallpaper. Like when she's starting to have her breakdown, I'm like, oh, where are they going? Where are they going? Because the Babadook part, like when you start to see this thing kind of how it's moving around, like that was interesting. That was really cool.
Hmm.
Hmm.
When she went to the police station, uh, and I said the same thing. I'm like, no, shouldn't you report it first before you attempt to burn or destroy this thing? Because it's like no
Yeah.
one's gonna believe you. And yeah, and that's where I was going with the psychological part of it too, because she was a writer. Like they hinted at things or they said things earlier in the film where it's like, okay, wait a minute, did she in her maybe she wasn't in her right mind, and maybe she was writing this thing and making this pop up book, you know,
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
it
Yep.
wasn't really finished. And then they had the other elements about her husband, because that's where I was leaning towards as well. That maybe
Yeah.
because
Sure.
he had a violent death, maybe he went down a dark path, and like I don't know, they did a good job at kind of pulling those strings on all sides. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily like one specific moment, but I'd say there was a lot of good moments that kind of built up to it. But
Okay. Yeah.
she did a great job. She's a fantastic actress.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah. Draven, do you have a favorite part or anything you want to talk about specifically?
I guess just like when she first sees the thing and it like goes in her mouth or whatever, like
Hmm.
that part was pretty creepy.
Yeah.
Um, but like Vinny was saying, like the whole movie is to me is just like her dealing with like Babadook isn't actually there. It's not like real. I don't think. And the kid has an overactive imagination for sure.
Hmm.
And it's just her like dealing with her depression and stuff
Hmm.
and coping with the loss of her husband
Hmm.
for most of the movie. But yeah. And then kind of like finally, like towards the end, kind of like just snapping out of it and just like fighting back, kind of.
Yeah, I have some theories about the movie as well. I wanted to get this comment by Bone. He says it's very creepy, but not much gore and violence. Yeah, I think that this movie would qualify as um, probably elevated horror.
I'd
Um,
say so.
and it's funny because I'm not one to really like elevated horror. It's not that I'm like a snob about it. It's just that I like, real like I like horror, like 80s horror, like
Yeah.
slashers and stuff like that. But this movie, this movie really surprised me. I liked it a lot, and that was that the psychological aspect was the thing that I really liked the most about it, and you guys touched upon what Babadook is, and yeah, my theory about what Babadook is that it's a manifestation of the mother's grief, depression, all the darkness from her losing her husband. And I think she might even be already emotionally unstable or have some kind of mental illness.
Right.
That was my take. That's my theory. What do you guys think?
I was leaning towards that as well, but you got to remember the kid was he was seeing things. He was the first one to see things. Although again, she's the one who could have written and created this book.
Right.
So and again, that plays up to the part of, okay, well, she destroyed it because maybe she knew that she was the one who made it, but at the same time, then you look into like at the end with the worms in the bowl, like she's kind of feeding this thing and keeping it locked down there. Now it could still be in her head. Could be she's just batshit crazy, but at the same time, but it could also be like this dark kind of entity that sprung up from her husband, or maybe he didn't make it to the other side, and there's this darkness to it because again he wanted the kid. He never got to see his kid. So like they were playing with that stuff. So it's interesting how they did it because it could have gone either way. It could be like a supernatural horror movie, but it could also be just a woman who lost her mind, and her son is, since it's her kid, he might still have these kind of delusional thoughts and things too, because he's not altogether there.
Yeah, they kind of leave it open to the interpretation of the audience, and I really love that. Draven, what is your theory on what the Babadook is?
Oh, like you both touched on it. I think it's like a manifestation of like her depression and like all the loss and stuff that she's gone through. And then like at the end when because the basement is where basically all the belongings of the father is. So I took that as like, go play outside and let me be, and like, when you're older, you can go down here and whatnot. And basically, I feel like that's her, where she goes down there and kind of like reminisces and kind of like gets herself back in that headspace when she needs a moment to, like, you know what I mean? Kind of just get away and just kind of deal with, the inner turmoil that she has, and going down there kind of helps. And then they just, obviously it's like supposed to be a horror movie, so they kind of play up with that and do the the normal trope kind of thing.
It could be where she goes, where she could flick the bean without having her kid run in on her.
Oh yeah, that was pretty
I was like, I was like, I understand her pain.
Yeah.
But Draven, I actually agree with your assessment. I think that's exactly that's exactly what the Babadook is, because the reason why I came to that conclusion is even though the kid did start seeing the Babadook and stuff, notice how he didn't know anything about it until she started reading that book to him.
And that's what freaked him out, because they even had like the scene where he's like screaming and stuff. Because when she's reading it, and she's just, to us as the viewer, it's like she's just reading it to herself.
Yeah, like
If
he's
she's not
bawling his
reading it.
eyes out, and
Yeah.
he's looking away from the book, and he's like, "Does he hurt the boy? Does he hurt the
Yeah,
boy?"
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And she keeps reading, and it's like
Mhm.
it's almost like like he started seeing this because her um it's almost like kind of a mass hysteria type situation
Mhm.
where her like he made her, because remember when the social workers or whatever they were came by, oh no, I'm sorry, it was when she took him to the psychiatrist. He said he has a very high level of anxiety, and
Mhm.
I was thinking to myself, he he must be getting that from her.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, because there's like a lot of that bad energy of the kids around. So I mean, kids
Mhm.
are going to be anxious. They're going to have those anxiety issues, you know.
Yeah.
And coming
Yeah,
from
they sense all kinds of shit.
oh yeah,
Yes.
coming from an Italian household, you know, there's yelling all the time from like when
Oh,
you're a kid. You
yeah.
Yeah.
know, you start to get anxiety about certain things.
Yep.
But later in life, like I don't give a shit now about anything because it's like, all right, I heard and seen all this shit already, so
Mhm.
it's no big deal. But as a kid, yeah, it's gonna have influence on him. And again, if his mother was reading like that and putting it into his head, putting those fears into his head, you know, and then he's just like he's spazzing out, like, you know, when he kind of goes almost catatonic at one point,
Mhm.
you know, it's not so much that, yeah, again, the supernatural thing, it's he sees how broken his mother is, and it's like the kid with the imaginary friend, you know, like why do they
Yep.
create them? It's
Mhm.
to fill a void, or you know, someone who's gonna take the hit instead of, you
Yeah, to
know, the
cope.
kid. So in a way, it was like, yeah, it's like he's screaming in fear until he kind of passed out, almost like, you know, when a panic attack goes too far, what
Mhm.
happens? You eventually pass out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And Bone, yes, I agree. She manifested her inner demon. That's exactly what I think.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was actually one of the scenes that kind of cemented my theory for me,
Mm-hmm.
because he started, he went into that kind of like shock. I can't remember how the doctor described it, but it was basically like anxiety and like just like
Sort of reminded me of like a seizure, like
yeah,
when
it was like
you have too much stress or whatever.
yeah, basically, yeah, it was like a nervous breakdown. He just
Mhm.
seized, his brain just seized up from it.
Yeah.
And that's why and that's what I was thinking, like she must be creating so much stress because remember at the end he said, "I know you don't love me, Mom."
Mhm.
So imagine how like that must feel to the kid, and then like she's reading him this scary story,
Mm-hmm.
and like she's always depressed, so it's always kind of that dark cloud hanging over the house, and he never gets to have a birthday, and no one
Mm-hmm.
wants to be around him because he's an odd child,
Mhm.
probably because of how he
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
his mother, and so
And the sister of her husband doesn't really want to deal with it either because it just reminds her of everything that happened to her brother.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. Yeah, her sister was a jerk.
Yeah, she was.
Oh yeah. All right. I wait. That's the other part I kind of liked. I like when the kid pushed the cousin out of the treehouse. It's like, yeah, you don't say that shit. The hell's wrong
I
with you?
was,
Mhm.
yeah, I was kind of rooting for him too. Hey, Mr. Pulpnoy, thanks for
Hey.
stopping by.
Yeah. But when she got up and her face was all bloody, I'm like, ooh, okay, that was bad.
Mhm.
I know.
Broke her nose in two places. But how he said it later on was like, yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah, she hates me because I broke her nose in two places. It's like, but what was I gonna say? Because with that too, yeah, with the birthday, when he says, yeah, we never got to celebrate my birthday before, and how it's cemented too that how delusional she is. She's like, oh, of course we have, and he's like, no, we never did, because
Mhm.
dad died, you know, on my
Mhm.
birthday when driving
Yeah.
us to the hospital, and then like you see almost like it sits with her like for a second. It's like he's not wrong, but then she doesn't acknowledge it.
And
Yeah,
they always did the joint birthday
yeah,
with the girl. So technically they didn't they celebrated the girl's birthday.
Yeah.
didn't technically celebrate his.
Yep.
That's true. That's very
Mhm.
true, because nothing was ever held at their house.
Mhm.
And like there's, and you can see the contrast in the movie between the houses. Hers is like they did this really well with the color schemes and everything.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
Like
with the
they're
gray.
yeah, it's very gray and like just very like depressing looking. And then
Monotone.
you go
yeah.
to the yeah, and then you go to the sister's house, and especially when they're doing that birthday party, there's like nice balloons and it's colorful and
Yeah, it's
fun.
outside.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's yeah. You're right. Their house felt claustrophobic, but on top of it, the one thing I did enjoy, and they kept doing this shot a lot from when they show like the banister and going up the stairs. It looked right out of Beetlejuice at the end when she's doing the
Oh,
dance.
that's right.
I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, they did this on purpose. It was like
Mm.
the same exact kind of dark grays and everything, and and then what would happen? They brought all that color down, and she's doing the ghost pick her up, and she
Yeah.
starts doing the dance. But like there were fun little nods like that here and there throughout that movie. But I do like again what kind of puts her at a little bit more of a normal standing in the middle of her, like she just killed the dog. She's going after the kid with the knife. What
The
happened?
dog dies and not a single fuck was given.
I know.
Yeah, that I'm like, oh come on, you had to kill a
Yeah.
dog, right? But it's when the neighbor knocked on the door, the sweet old lady
Mhm.
with the Parkinson's, and what did
Mhm.
she say? She says that I love you and your son, no matter
Mhm.
what. I
Mhm.
wanted to check on you, all that. Like how sweet that she all that came out, that love. You could see almost a change in her face.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know, so it's like, all right, she doesn't kill the old lady, so now we know that there's hope in it. We know that something else is going to happen,
Yeah.
something better. And then at the end, what do they show? Again, one of the few interactions she has, it's that the old lady's still watching the kid, and you could see how much love there is there at the end, and everything
Mhm.
seems to be normal. And
Yeah.
that's why that's why the Babadook is locked away in the basement, because if something does happen later on, if something terrible or it could come out again. So she has to keep it at bay. She has to
Mhm.
keep whatever it is, if it's in her mind or if it's real, it has to be kept at bay. But we know it's in her mind. So
Yeah.
And it,
defeat the
and it
Hey,
also
beast.
Sherry,
kind of
thanks for coming.
it also kind of
Hey, Sherry.
reinforces the idea that like no matter how hard we are on ourselves and like whatever depression or whatever we find, there's always somebody there
Hmm.
that can help. You just have to reach out, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that was actually, that was really nice. That
Mhm.
that old lady, she very sweet.
Mhm.
Yeah, they did a
Um
great job with her. And see, and
yeah.
that's the other thing too that even points out more of that it isn't in the mother's mind is we don't see that guy who was really interested in her anymore.
Mhm.
Like when he came to the house, the kid spazzes out, and then she adds to it, and then you never see that guy around anymore. So
Mhm.
it's like, okay,
Yeah.
like it's almost like she had a scene so she could be left alone, so she could still have that grief, all that pain
Mhm.
could keep growing.
Yeah, it's kind of like a chicken egg type situation where
Mhm.
like or I should say maybe like a feedback loop type situation where um she doesn't want to be alone or anything like that, but she creates this negative environment that she pushes people away,
Mhm.
and so they end up always being alone. And it's like, and
Mhm.
then they feel bad because people don't want to be around them, and it's like it's just a cycle that keeps going.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was good. I mean, whoever wrote it, they did a damn good job with this.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. uh
And I'm a elevated horror type of person. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. And the reason I like elevated horror is because a lot of like new horror doesn't really like scare me, and a lot of elevated
mm,
horror at least makes you feel something, you know.
Yeah, but again, when they have the good psychological aspects to
Yep.
it, you can see
Mhm.
that they put a lot of thought into the story. It's not just jump scares and that type of shit. So I'm with
Exactly.
you on that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. Like I have nothing. I it's like I feel like some of the elevated horror is kind of like for horror for people that don't really like horror.
Hmm.
It's like more like thriller.
Yeah, I can see that.
But on the other hand, like I don't hate them because they're not complete horror either. You know, so it's basically if it's a well done movie, I'm gonna like it. Yeah. Yeah, same here, Bone. Jump scares are it's very lazy writing.
It is. I mean, and don't get me wrong. Like, if there's a great one put into a movie where you're really not expecting it, I'm okay with that. But if if that's all that you could do, then then it's lazy.
Yeah, it's like I can't
paranormal
remember.
movies. That's all
What's
they are.
that?
The paranormal activity movies. That's literally all they are is jump scares.
I've actually never seen those.
Same. I had no interest.
The first two are good, and then after that, you can just cannot watch the rest.
Yeah. I think like I can't remember what the name of the movie was, but it wasn't too long ago I was watching it, and it was like it really felt like it was one jump scare after another to the point where I got numb to it, and it was like, this is stupid. It made the movie very unenjoyable because a well-placed jump scare works because you don't expect it. Like, they're not building that tension with that music where it's like or like she's slowly creeping around and it's going to be something around the corner and you're expecting it.
Right.
There can be good well-placed jump scares, but I feel like for some reason writers don't know how to do them like they used to.
Yeah,
right.
They always like cue it too, like with the music. Like,
if
you're gonna do a jump scare, don't telegraph it. Like, it's like with the first two Dead Space games, like they never telegraphed like the jump scares and stuff. It just happens. And then in 3, the worst of them, they like either have a music cue and then immediately after that, like, you have a jump scare, or they have a new enemy that's on the ground that gets, that they're going to be reanimated. So it's like, this isn't scary. Like, he just loses that whole thing. Yeah,
like Resident Evil, I thought they did a fantastic job, especially with the remake game, because that was a lot to do because everyone we know where the jump scares are going to be.
Yeah.
In that type of game, because we've played this 15, 20 years earlier, and but it's the graphics are amazing. Wrong. They did so many different things with it. They put these jump scares in certain places where, and it works when it's like it's a survival horror game. So I think it's a little bit different than a film, but again, at the same time, I mean, you're still playing with these certain elements that have to work in a certain way. And
because horror is horror no matter what medium it is.
Oh
you got to be a master at where you're going to do that type of stuff to make it work properly. Like in Jaws, the ones that they had in there, they worked for what they were.
Absolutely.
And then the reaction from the actors, like, again, when he's chumming and he's got the cigarette dangling out of his mouth and he's not paying attention, all of a sudden he comes out of the water, and then they have that shot where it's just like he stood up straight. Like, you guys didn't see that? Holy shit.
Frankie says jump scares at the end of films are overused and pushed and used to push a sequel. Yeah. Absolutely.
Some places, like, again, they're coming, but I'll look the other way, be like, I'll let that slide because I do want to see more of this. But if it's a bad movie, it's like, oh, come on, that was cheap.
Yeah.
So there's that.
I like subtle things that could not do a sequel.
Yeah.
Like, that could lead to a sequel, but if a sequel doesn't happen, it's still good on its own.
Yeah, because that's kind of like a safe bet. Like, if the movie does well, okay, then we left it open so we can do a sequel. But then if like you put something in there where the audience is expecting a sequel, then it's kind of like you're gonna have all these rabid fans being like, "Where's the sequel?"
Yeah, exactly.
Rock with Black Adam. Don't.
Yeah, I know. I'm
Sorry.
pissed.
Also, by the way, thanks for coming, Frankie Knows.
Yeah, thanks, bro. But yeah, this movie was good. I mean, yeah, if you haven't seen it, I do recommend it. Babadook was great.
Mhm.
The other thing I was gonna say too, like that kid, though, like in the beginning, I'm like, holy shit, is he annoying? But like they make you care for the kid later on too. It's just like, okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
they
this
do.
this is horrific. What's kind of happening to him, and and how he's still there no matter what, because like, he made that promise with his mom, you know, because and that's that was a genius about it too. That kid, he was truly hurt with the things that she said,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but the kid also knew where his mother was coming from with that pain. So,
Yep.
and he wouldn't leave her. So that was pretty amazing. That again, great job with that. And the kid did a really good job too with his performance. I gotta say, I think what's his name, John Krasinski. Uh, I I think that he did a smart move with the Quiet Place when he hired that kid, because it's like, yeah, we want to see him quiet. We don't want to hear him after seeing Babadook.
Yeah. It's that kid really, that was some great acting.
Oh yeah, oh my God, the terror was on his face too in some of those scenes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yep.
Yeah, that was those two, the mother and the son, that was great acting in that
Mhm.
movie.
Yeah, she was in Game of Thrones too, wasn't she?
Was she?
I think she was. There's something about her. Like I know I've seen her in a couple of things, but I couldn't really place it.
What's what's the actress's name?
What was it, like Elise something? Let me look.
Oh yeah, her name is SC or
Oh, Essie.
ESSIE Davis.
Essie Davis.
Let's see.
Nothing that I'm seeing that's at least fairly well known to me. She was in Charlotte's Web in 06.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
not seeing anything about Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I found it. It's when Joffrey dies. She was.
Oh, is it?
Oh,
Yeah, because I remember. I remember with both as a
Oh yeah,
brunette
Game
and
of
as a
Thrones.
blonde. It's because she had the wig on. She was playing his mother in the play, and then when he actually dies there, yeah, there's a screenshot too. I mean, she is a beautiful woman too.
yeah, she is. Bones says, very good acting and cinematography. Horror is always overlooked when it comes to awards. And I think, first of all, I agree. And I think that's one of the reasons for the new genre of elevated horror. I think that they want to start seeing horror get awards.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, they need to jump it up.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. She was one of, oh, wow. I
Yeah,
wouldn't.
because well, what the hell's her name? The Stark girl, the one that was with the many faces there.
Aria.
Forgot Arya. Yeah, because I remember when she was with that whole pack for a little bit. Because I'm like, this one's really good. I'm like, I want to see more of her in there. I was kind of curious what they were going to do with the character, but it wasn't too long. But yeah, no, she did it. Yeah, she did an excellent job. Yeah, sometimes I'm like that. I could really like spot someone out, even if it's like they're not a big star. When I was younger, I was able to do like everything. Because again, I watch so much stuff, so much film, TV. It's because I want to tell more stories. Like with the comics that I do and stuff, I want to kind of perfect what I'm doing. So like I would just kind of watch everything. I would pay attention to everything. That's part of it, because just making a comic book, I'm not just the writer. I have to be like the actors as well. I need to, have this set in my mind. I have to. It's like you're wearing many hats when you're going to bring a world to life. So it's kind of like I got like a Rolodex in my head of stuff. It's kind of crazy.
Wow.
She did a fantastic job. But yeah, good stuff. I was kind of thinking too, they could do a sequel quite easily, I think, off of this.
They could, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, no, I
The
doubt it.
the director said there's no plan. She's not going to do a sequel.
Oh, okay. Oh, it was a female director?
Yeah. Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't look at every bit of information.
Yeah. Written and directed by Jennifer Kent.
Okay. She's very talented. She should do more movies
Mhm.
regardless.
I know. I'd like to see more of her horror.
Yeah.
Shoot,
Because
that was
I think it would be interesting. I mean, again, you don't have to do it now. It could be later on to have a story where we follow the kid and maybe the kid starts to see it again or as he's an adult and how it affects him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would be good.
That'd be
They could
really
even make a
interesting.
sequel. I mean, a series on that,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
You
like
know,
a Babadook series.
yeah, you could have him starting to have his own life, and you could kind of explore that. Where okay, well, maybe he has a family of his
Mhm.
own, but then something really traumatic happens, and it's kind of like reawakens this thing, or because like the connection with his mom that, yeah, maybe he starts to manifest his own version, his own Babadook that could be even more horrifying.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Mhm.
very true. That's a good point too.
Yeah.
Everybody everybody potentially has their own Babadook, which could be different. Like
Mhm.
it manifests differently for everybody depending on what you're going through.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
That's yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that being a series.
Hmm. Hell yeah. I
Well, that
wanna see it
reminds me
happen
of
now.
like you know how they have like the different artists that do like if like different mental health issues were like real or whatever, or not
Yep.
real but like physical.
Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me they could do like a whole series of that. That would be cool.
Oh
That would be-
yeah. Yeah. Kind of like not to bring up that horrible company, but it starts with a D. And they
Mhm.
did those what is it called? Inside Out, I think it was.
Oh yeah, it's with the angry guy and all that inside
Yeah.
his head.
Yeah.
Oh, I never seen that one.
I've
That's
never
good.
seen it.
It's good.
I've never seen it. I just
know
know the
it's
premise.
yeah, I know it's from them, but it's a good
Mhm.
movie.
Yeah. So yeah, if anybody is watching the stream right now or watching on the replay, if you haven't seen this movie and it sounds like you might be interested, definitely give it a shot. It's free to watch on Tubi, and I really don't think you'll be disappointed. The kid is very annoying in the beginning, but
Mhm.
trust me, just
Mhm.
stick with it for a little while. It
Yeah.
pays off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes sense why the kids like that anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Mhm.
Yep.
It was kind of funny though, like when he hit his mother in the head with that thing.
I know. I was kind of rooting for him. I was like, yeah.
That was funny. I'm like, no, don't hurt your mom too much though. You just gotta snap her out of it.
My thing is I was worried that it was going to be like a bad ending where like everybody just,
Yeah.
but I was pleasantly surprised that it didn't end that way.
Yeah, it didn't have to, and that's the
Mhm.
thing. I'm happy she didn't go that direction because yeah, you could easily have made this thing straight up horror, blood and
Mhm.
gut. You could have done that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
But-
actually, when I watched it a couple of times. When I first watched it, I actually thought that that's the direction they were going to go in because you remember when she got the book the second time, it showed that
Mhm.
she. Oh, I don't want to give away. Well, it showed what she did to herself in the book.
Yeah.
And I
Mhm.
thought that that's how, I thought it was kind of like a prophecy, like that's what was going to happen.
Yeah, because of the dog.
Yeah.
It's like,
So-
oh, yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. So when it didn't end, that way I expected, I was like, oh, wow, that was creative.
Mhm.
Hmm.
But I was reading some facts about this, and
Yeah.
the woman who directed this movie, who wrote and directed it, I think she said that that this was it her that Babadook scared her more than Exorcist.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. But didn't she wrote this thing?
Oh, I'm sorry. This
Or
film,
the actor?
The Babadook, scared the director of The Exorcist.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh
So
wow,
yeah.
that's a huge compliment, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah, right? Right. I'd love
Definitely.
to hear that.
Nice.
Yeah, Bone, you totally should. Yeah, if you have access to Tubi, go for it. You'll like it.
Hmm. And you should have access to Tubi.
Yeah.
So
I
I need
think
to make an account. I just do sign in as a guest because I'm lazy.
that's all I do.
Okay.
Yeah. I think there's some people who can't get access to Tubi, like in I think other countries.
Okay.
all right, gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah, they said
yeah.
they said this movie made about $10.5 million.
Yeah, and the budget was like one something, so it
Mhm.
did good, and then
Yeah.
it did better with streaming.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, it used to be on Netflix, but it's not anymore.
I think I remember seeing it a while back, and like one good thing about doing these is I'm seeing some stuff that I normally probably wouldn't like go out of my way to just watch. So,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a benefit of being on my stream.
Well, last week that was another situation altogether. It's not a
Yeah.
movie I would ever watch.
I would have never watched
But I
that.
did.
Well,
that was crazy.
you know, I can't say I've seen worse.
I watched The Barbarians the other day. That was pretty bad.
Oh, really? I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah,
I
it's
haven't
based. They're I think they're called the Barbarian Brothers, and they're twins, and it's like they get kidnapped or something as kids.
Oh, this was in the 80s.
Yeah,
I might have seen this.
and like they need to find this ruby, and they like the guy kidnaps this princess, and like he like keeps her as part of his harem for like all these years, and then they grow up. But they grow up separately, but in the same like camp. And then they fight each other because they want them to kill each other, basically. Because she made the guy promise that he wouldn't lay a hand on him, but he never said anything about them killing each other. And then when they're fighting each other, they see who they are, and then it's like, oh, okay, you know. And then they go on this grand adventure.
So you wouldn't say that that's worse than Frightmare, would you?
It's pretty bad.
Oh wow, really?
It's gotta be.
Yeah.
It's gotta be around that level of bad because I remember as a
It's
kid,
pretty bad.
Yeah, as a kid, I think I seen some of that, and I think it was so bad I couldn't even finish it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That was the situation I was in with Frightmare. I had to. Oh man, it took me 3 tries to finish the movie.
Mm.
It was so bad. It was just a random pick, so I am very sorry about that.
Wow. Yeah, don't worry about that one. I was reading up too on this a little bit too. They said that the director, she was inspired by a story that a friend told her about a single mother that had a similar situation, and that her and her child claimed that they were seeing monsters in the house, and that's what got the ball rolling for her.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I guess because that's the thing too, right? If you're in that state of mind all the time, like you're attracting bad to you all the time, negative things. It creates these monsters. You start to see things.
Mm-hmm.
Shadows are moving to you and all this other stuff. When it's the same thing if it's something good. If you keep a lot of positivity around you, usually you have a lot more good fortune happening, or better moments in life. You feel like you're luckier on certain things too. So
yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Babadook is like an urban legend or whatever, and it's supposed to be the embodiment of. Hold on, where is it at? I'll go back to the little description. Grief, anxiety, and depression. So.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like we're right with our theories about it then.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a really well written movie. I really liked it a lot.
Oh, for sure. Excellent stuff.
So when I was watching the movie, I was before I formed the theory that this was a manifestation like of her like her grief and all the negativity in her life. I was thinking that she that the kid was like the source of like the bad things happening. Did you guys ever get that feeling?
No, I felt like it was the mother, kind of from the
Yeah.
get
Okay.
go, because I've seen similar things too. Like when a parent takes out their frustrations on a kid,
Mhm.
um, in whatever way. I mean, it could be verbal, it could be physical, but when you see that type of stuff, yeah. So it kind of stuck out. I'm like, okay, but the thing is, like, she played it so sweet and innocent the entire time anyway, or
Yeah.
and you can see the genuine fear. It was almost like Two-Face, right? In the Batman universe, where
Mhm.
before he became Two-Face, like Harvey was having split personality thing. Like he
Hmm.
would do things that he didn't even remember. It was like another person entirely until the traumatic event happened that kind of pulled that out of him, and but and that's the fun thing about those type of characters, the psychological aspects you can play around with. But I did see the mother like that especially when they said that she did some writing. Correct
Yeah.
me if I'm wrong. I don't know if it was my own mind that said this, or she said it in the film. I can't remember because again, it was so late when I was starting to watch it. Did she say that she was dabbling in children's books as well?
I think she said she did write children's books.
Yeah. I
Okay.
think that's what she said.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So
Or wait,
she
that she
says
had
she wrote
written
little. She says she wrote little articles and stuff.
for magazines.
Right. But I don't.
And,
I thought that she said that she did some kind of kid's book, or she was messing around with one.
Oh, maybe. I can't remember.
yeah, now I can't remember. I do
Yeah.
remember her mentioned in the magazine articles.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the other ladies because I was at the party. So I think it was her sister and her friend that were mentioning a children's book.
Okay.
Mhm.
Because I know it kind of came
Possibly.
up, but yeah, I don't remember the full context. But I'm like, okay, yeah, no, she had to have done this, especially that it wasn't completed, and she was like, and then like Draven was saying, she just kept reading it, even though the kid's
Mhm.
screaming and flipping out. It's almost like she didn't remember doing it, and then as she's reading it, it
Yeah.
was freaking her out.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was strange how like she didn't like this book. When
Mhm.
she was reading it, she was like, "Where did you get this book?" But he didn't know this book either because remember she was reading it to him and he's like
Mhm.
bawling his eyes out like, "Does it hurt
Mhm.
the boy? Does it hurt the boy?" And it's like neither one of them knew what was in the book, and yet the
Right.
book was there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then when it came back on the doorstep, all taped back together, then there were more pages that were drawn and written and everything.
Yeah, and remember that it looked like there was ink on her hands, and remember that
Mm.
book was all like he was all
All
black.
black. Hmm.
I think she wrote the book.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because it wasn't just that you know that black was on her hand from burning it.
So
Yeah,
No.
because it's like that's like what do you call it? Oil pastels or chalk.
mhm.
Because
Right,
like that
right.
book was
Yeah.
like all messy kind of too, and like every time you see the Babadook, there's all black shit all over it. So
Yep.
it's like, oh yeah, yeah, that had to be her,
So
and that's
Yeah.
other
what. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
so other parts of the legend is it's said to haunt those who would be foolish enough to read a pop-up book disguised as a children's book. It talks about it. So basically, this thing like gets stronger and stronger the more you believe in its existence. Uh, while believed to be a spirit or demon, the Babadook is merely a tulpa, a thought form which can manifest in our plane of reality due to the amount of fear and belief in its existence.
Mhm. But in the film, they did it the other way, though. They said the more you pretend like it doesn't believe, the stronger it gets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the part that gave it away that it was for me that it was her is the time lapses, like her like getting lapsed, like she'd like be doing something and it was like, you know, hours later. So
for sure. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like the Avatar. It has the horror to it, and then it has, you know, he's giving it to Disney. Because American Psycho, that was one of my favorite movies. That's another great one, psychological wise, where you can look at that movie in many different ways.
Yep.
Christmas, I've been to a Tupperware party. Trust me, that gets really scary.
Jeez.
Chris, thanks for stopping by.
Hell yeah, brother.
But I can relate to the whole like the jump in or like time lapse because like there'll be times where I'm like just chilling and just kind of sitting there, and then it's like a couple hours later. So I feel the whole how she kind of feels like being overwhelmed and you know.
Well, again, sleep deprivation. I think we all know how that goes.
That too, yeah.
I create some crazy things
a lot of it,
too while I'm not sleeping.
Yeah. A lot of it reminds me when I was with my ex and having to deal with her kids and all that stuff too. So yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts, right? How the brain goes.
Smack that like button like you all really wanted to smack that kid in the back seat while he screams.
Yeah. Chris, I said that kid needed to be drowned in a river.
He needed the fear of God put in him, and it seemed to work.
I mean, really.
Like I said, though, I'm glad that they gave that kid a bit of a redemption as well, and especially how he wouldn't let go. Like, you know, it's
he had a redemption arc.
Yeah, which was great and much needed. That kid, when he pushed his cousin out of the treehouse, I was like, wow.
She deserved it. Frankie No says there is a sequel, The Babadook. It stars a Cuban bongo player and a fiery redhead.
Babadook.
Why can't you be normal? My parents too. Oh man.
Shit. Yeah, Chris has 2 Babadooks. No wonder
I did like his little slingshot thing. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that little kid was really inventive.
Yeah, that was good. I was gonna say that's why Chris he likes to mess around with all those chemicals for doing 3D printing without a mask on. Oh shit.
Yeah, about the whole like her insomnia thing. This is why I feel like she has already some kind of mental illness because she stays up for days and she's like, I just want to sleep. I just want to sleep. And she can't. She just stays up watching TV.
Which was great too, because then like her mom was going into even stranger places, and you know, a mother killed a child, and you know, and then as they're doing that, you see her in the window and she's smiling all psychotic.
Yeah, I thought that was like a foretelling of what was going to happen because what they said.
No, they were doing a great job with that. Chris says he's hot on life.
Awesome, Chris.
Did you watch the whole movie, Chris? He would have been good to come on here too. He's good with that stuff.
Yeah.
Thinking about the, you know, kind of what the mother was going through.
Like with Megan, as far as like the social kind of thing, he called that from like a mile away.
Yeah, I still gotta.
I haven't seen that yet. We might be going tomorrow to the theater to see it.
Nice.
Chris says when you deprive your brain of REM cycles for more than a day or two, you start experiencing hallucinations called phantasmagoria. Yeah, That's true. I think it takes like 3 days and you can start going like legit crazy.
Oh yeah. Have you guys ever played that one computer game back in the day, Phantasmagoria?
No, but I've heard of it.
Oh, so great. Yeah, it's this couple that got this huge house. It's an old house, and then you find out that the previous owner, he had killed like all of his wives in there. Like he had like 4 or 5 wives, and like that, like the ghost starts to kind of like haunt them, and the chick that you're kind of like you're playing as like this main character. Um, she starts to see stuff and things start to happen to her, and her husband kind of gets like possessed by the spirit of this guy who owned the house. It was really cool how they did it, but they did it as it was live action. There were people that they used. It wasn't just like
Oh, like a VM. What are they called? I know what you're talking about.
yeah, I don't know what it's fully called, but yeah, it was great. It was great. It was something similar too. Yeah, because then she stopped sleeping as well because she can't anymore, and things get even worse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
sounds like a cool game.
Someone might have that on YouTube. It's worth it just to check out the story if you're ever curious. But you know, but hey, you know what? Maybe we could all do. Maybe, I don't know. If not next week, maybe we could do another
Like
time.
Night Trap. Remember Night Trap for Sega CD? It has like the full. It has like movie clips and stuff in it.
Okay.
What
With real
is this
people.
mean, guys? FMV.
Full motion video.
Oh, okay.
All right. But yeah. Like Frankie was saying, it was actors in front of a green screen. How they did Phantasmagoria.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
Nice. I didn't know that. Sweet. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should do that. If we could find a YouTube video, break that shit down. That could be fun. It's been a long ass time since I played it, but like I said, I know YouTube's got all that kind of crap anyway. People upload that. But hey, maybe we could do Megan sometime as well. I'll be seeing it soon.
Yeah, I definitely.
Oh yeah, this is just like Night Trap.
To stream it right now is $20, and that's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It's.
Oh yeah. It's.
I mean,
Yeah, to stream, that's too much.
That's 2 tickets at the theater.
Mm-hmm. But you said you're gonna be seeing with your husband soon anyway, right?
Yeah, maybe tomorrow. Depends on how I'm feeling.
Okay. Yeah, the game was 7 discs. I do. Yeah, it was
7
crazy.
discs.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Jeez.
Yeah, here's a screen from it.
Did you see for Chris's comment?
It makes you. Yeah. I remember that. He's not wrong.
Yeah, so FMVs with full motion video, but Night Trap is the same way.
Yeah, and you see like the skulls there too. Like if you do get confused or lost, like the skull gives you like tips if you click on them. Like if you like, because like you'll be in all strange areas too, because they have like there was like a farm area to this big estate as well, and there's like this kind of like this dumb guy who's like kind of running it in there, and you don't know, maybe he's a killer. Like they put all these little elements in there, but it was fun. It was cool because she's like exploring the grounds. She's exploring this gigantic freaking mansion as well, and then and she stumbled upon things. It's pretty cool how they did it all.
Sounds cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you guys have any last thoughts on Babadook? You want to talk about anything else?
Oh, this screen of this shows the cheese of this game.
How old is this game?
Oh, maybe 25, 30 years old, something like that. Maybe a little bit older. I don't fully remember.
Like Like you said, it's all a green screen, but she's obviously an actor.
Oh yeah. And you kind of like you have her moving. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of funny.
What was it like? Nick Arcade when they're like playing the game at the end or whatever. Was it Nick Arcade or the other one?
What are we talking about?
The game show with the video games or whatever on Nickelodeon back in the day.
Oh,
Where they were in front of the big green screen and had to like jump over stuff and do all that stuff. Crazy stuff.
I have no idea.
I don't know either. But yeah, I'm trying to think some other final thoughts on this movie. Because I mean, again, they did a great job. She doesn't interact with a lot of people, but the ones she does, I mean, they're good scenes. You know, even the police department, like those guys were good in there, and yeah, no, it's excellent job. I think they did a great job.
Blair has a question for you, Vinny. Are you going to C2E2 in Chicago this year?
Probably not. I don't really have any plans right now to go around that area.
What is C2E2?
Yeah, if I start doing more conventions, it's a pretty big show. That's the one where
computer electronics show.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not a computer electronic. That's the E2. It sounds similar, but it's not. C2E2 is wait a minute, or is that one?
Oh no, you're right. It's Comic and Entertainment Expo.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, this is the one where I met Stan Lee when the last time I saw him. That's when he bought some original work from me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was at that place. Not the very last time I went, the time before that. Again, pretty good show, but these things they're pricey to do now. Because it's like getting the table, the hotel rooms, all that shit. Like you got to really book in advance.
Chris asks E3 or CES. I have no idea what these things.
E3 was the one. E3 was the one I was thinking of, but C2E2 is a comic book one. It's the people that do New York Comic Con and the Emerald City. It's the same ones.
Okay.
E3 is dead at this point.
I would assume so. I mean,
because none of the main guys are going to be there this year.
Oh, none of them?
None of them. They already announced that.
Oh, wow. But you know what? There's so many great games that are going to be coming out so damn soon. Again, the remake of Resident Evil 4. There's a ton of shit. So I don't know. But I think we're good. We don't need any more of this. Because what are they going to push? That game that you were playing?
Oh, dude. I'm going to wait. My buddy bought that at full price. I'm waiting until it's at least in the bargain bin. I like the gameplay, but the story and the dialogue from her is just cringe. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna eventually be. I know everyone's talking about it already, but I think I'm gonna cover some of the DC stuff.
Okay.
What they've been doing with the comic book or the movies rather, and James. I'm gonna refrain from saying what I was gonna say, but James Gunn, don't like him. We'll just leave it there. But I think on my stream, I'm gonna cover some of this stuff because a lot of people they're getting fooled. They're drinking the Kool-Aid. This is going to be a repeat of Star Wars shit. I'm telling you right now, what they're doing, what his plans are. I said it already months and months ago. I said this guy's going to be coming out of the gate with C and D list characters to push, and I was so on the money with that. I knew what they were doing, and huge mistake. But I'm going to cover it. I was having a conversation with a friend who is like a diehard, and I'm like, dude. You know what they're doing. You know what they're going to screw up. They already shot themselves in the foot by what they did to Cavill. So it's like
if it was any part in time other than now, I would be all for this stuff.
But
it's not.
You can't right now.
All right, guys.
As far as the final thoughts on the movie, I just think that it was really good. And if you haven't seen it, you should go see it because
jump on it.
It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Trina, she had a great pick on this one. She totally redeemed herself.
Thank you.
I enjoyed the last movie, despite it being bad.
There were a couple moments I'll give them, but that's all I can give them.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go around and tell everybody where they can find you, and then I'll announce the movie for next week. So, Vinny, you go ahead.
Yeah, you can find me at Vinny Art. Like I said, I should be Friday. I don't know if I might do one tomorrow. We'll see. But yeah, if not, it'll be Friday and then Sunday, and yeah, we're gonna cover some stuff. We'll hit some of the topics. I know a lot of people have been beaten down like a horse, but I'll hit it in a certain way, and I'll kind of give you more of the truth about it because a lot of these people, it's still there's their overreacting drama nonsense about it. When I'll give it to you straight on what they're doing and how bad it truly is. And yeah, if you want some awesome books, we have some great ones that still ship immediately. We got City of Venus with the 2 art books. We have Through the Woods if you're into horror. And if you're watching this, I'm assuming that you're into horror. So yeah, if you want a cool ghost story, Through the Woods, it's amazing. You get the whole thing in it, hardcover, beautiful format. It's a bigger book as well. And yeah, you also get Shadow of the Kraken. Again, also really awesome stuff in there. Some twists and turns, some supernatural stuff. So again, if you're into all this kind of stuff, I think you're going to enjoy that book as well. And yeah, in the meantime, I am working on City of Venus 2 as we speak. So yeah, get ready. More cool stuff coming at you soon. Thank you, Trina. Thank you, Draven. Thank you, everyone in chat.
Yeah, thank you for being here. All right, Draven, tell everybody where to find you.
Yeah, you can find me here on YouTube. Doing the wrestling watch parties tonight at 10:30 after Holy Shit News. We'll be watching Dynamite for tonight. So yeah, should be a good time. It usually is. And thank you for having me. Always a pleasure watching some new and obscure horror movies I haven't seen.
Yeah, it's awesome. Thanks for being here. And I want to thank everybody who showed up in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. And also thank you to everybody who watches on the replay. I really appreciate it. So next week we'll be doing My Bloody Valentine. We'll be doing the 1980s version, but I'll also be talking about the 2009 version because I like to compare and contrast when there's 2 versions of a movie out. Mm-hmm. So now, the thing is, with the 1980s version, right now it's only available on HBO Max. So, yeah, if hopefully you have that and you can follow along. But you can watch the 2009 version on Tubi. That's free to watch. So, otherwise, I hope everybody has a great night. Again, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you all. Yeah, have a good one.
Oh, yeah. Have a great night, everyone.
Later, guys.
That's all, folks.